Over the past year, I have made over $750,000 using this simple scalping strategy that I'm going to teach you right now. Just look at my trade log showing every single trade that I've taken over the past year. In this video, I'm going to break down this strategy completely. This strategy has helped me successfully trade the markets for years, and I want to share it with you so that you can implement it in your own trading account to see a ton of success. To actually succeed in the markets, you need one key element: data-driven decision-making. I want you to sit down and honestly think to yourself, do you think that the best traders in the world execute without data-driven decisions? When hedge fund billionaires sit down at their desk, do you think they look at the charts and go, oh, well, today I'm just going to trade some support and resistance? No, of course they don't. They make data-driven decisions, which allows them to execute flawlessly without guessing. If you don't operate from this same mental model, you're just asking to lose money. Enough talking. Let's get on the charts so that I can show you exactly what I mean. The first thing that I want you to do is go over to the Indicators tab and find the FXN Asian Session Range indicator. This indicator is called FXN Asian Session Range by Rob Minty. Once you have this indicator installed, you are able to see the highs, lows, and opens of the previous sessions. This indicator is not going to tell us where to buy and where to sell, but it will give us the important levels that will then tell us where to buy and where to sell. I'm going to scroll through my settings for this indicator real quick so you can just copy exactly how I have it set up. Keep in mind, I am in Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to take a screenshot. Once you have this indicator set up, you're going to mark out the opens, highs, and lows of the New York, London, and Asia trading session, just like this. Keep in mind, if a higher low has already been broken through, I don't mark it out because that shows that the level is no longer strong. It doesn't matter which time frame you use to mark out the highs and lows, but to mark out the New York open, I mark out the first candle at 8 a.m. on the 15-minute time frame. Every day, I trade from 8:30 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason I do this is because this is when the US stock market opens, so this gives me enough volume to have confidence that my setups will actually play out. This also helps me stay disciplined and consistent because I follow this every single day and I know exactly when I am done trading. After you have your levels marked out, you are then going to understand the three types of reactions that I like to look for. We are looking for bounces, rejections, and break and retest setups, as these will provide us with high probability trading opportunities. You might be asking, why do these setups provide us these opportunities? The truth is that these are prices in the market where big players such as banks or hedge funds enter and exit trades. We know these areas are going to be places where price can move quickly with strong momentum, which gives us high risk to reward setups that we can use to trade profitably. Now I'm going to show you some examples of all of these setups on the chart so you know exactly how to enter and exit the market based off of these trading setups. The first setup that I like to trade is a break and retest setup. Right here, I have the New York open marked out right here at 8 a.m. and a break and retest simply means that we are waiting for price to break above the New York open like so, and then retest. Test just means touch the New York open again, which is where we enter. And I have my stops a little bit below this zone, and then we target the move up, right? So we want to break, retest, and then a move in the same direction that it broke to, which in this case was the upside. This was a great setup. This was almost a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. I made about $3,000 on this setup. This setup works because it focuses on what actually moves the market: orders by traders and the emotions of traders. Every single trader who shorted at this level was in a loss the second the price made its move up. When price comes back down to this level, they are now at break even, which causes them to emotionally buy back into the market to minimize their losses. This buying pressure fuels this big move up. This is one of my favorite setups for shorts because of how simple it is, and it often gives me really low risk but high reward trades. Right here, the price failed to break above this high, which is where I entered the trade. This trade gave me a risk to reward of 1-to-4, meaning with my position sizing, I put in $1,000 and I made $4,000 back on this one trade. This setup plays out because every single person who bought at this high right here has been in a loss for the past few days. So the second the price comes back up to this level, they are exiting their trades at break even, fueling even more selling pressure. The final setup I look for is a bounce off of a low. This is one of the most simple setups to trade. All we are doing is looking for price to bounce off of a recent low. Most often, this will be a bounce off of a previous New York low, Asian low, or London low. When I am trading this setup, I wait for price to touch this low and I enter right off of this low, targeting about 20 to 30 points with my stop loss at about 5 to 10 points depending on the trade. This was a trade that I took off of a bounce of a previous New York low, and I caught a 1-to-6 risk to reward ratio on this trade, which made me about $7,000, only risking $1,000. Now that you actually understand the strategy, we're going to look at some more examples so that you know exactly how to execute on this setup in real time. Let's take a look at some trades that I took last week on ES. I trade ES futures. ES futures is the futures contract of the S&P 500. Right now, we're using the bar replay tool on TradingView, which will show you exactly what the setup looked like in real time. So the first thing I did was I marked out the New York open, which is the first 15-minute candle at 8 a.m. like we talked about at the beginning of the video. So once I do this, I wait for one of my three setups to play out, right? So in this case, we had a break and retest setup. We broke through right there. I had my entry right here at the bottom of this zone. I was targeting this low right here with my stops right above this zone for about 5-6 points, and this trade made me about $4,000, and my risk to reward on this trade was just beautiful, as you guys can see. Remember, I am scalping, so my goal is to catch a small piece of this larger move. So in this case, I caught a small piece of this downtrend. I was not trying to catch this whole move. I like to make my money early in the morning and then go enjoy my day. Let's look at another setup. So as always, I mark out the 8 a.m. candle right here. Let's see what happens. So I'm either looking for a break and retest, a rejection, or a bounce. Once price breaks over this zone, I then prepare for the retest. So I have my entry placed right at the top of this zone right here. In this case, I was targeting 25 points, and my stop was at about 5 points right there. Trade hit. I made a few $1,000s on that trade. Another beautiful, beautiful trade with very minimal risk. All right, everyone, so let's look for another reaction. So right here, we're looking at the London high. You can see that price taps this London high like so. So I have my shorts right here with my stops at about 5 points as usual. And on this trade, I was targeting a little bit more. I was targeting about 30 points on this trade. So this gave me a beautiful, beautiful risk to reward of exactly 1 to 6, making me about $4,500 on this trade. All right, everyone, this is the final setup that we're looking at. So as you can see right here, we are approaching a low, which gives me the sense that we are likely to bounce off of this low. So what I did is I placed a buy order right there with my stops at about 9 points, targeting about 30 points. And I ended up getting out of this trade for a risk reward of 1 to 375, so almost a 1 to 4, and I made a few $1,000s on this exact trade right here. This simple scalping strategy has allowed me to make a ton of money over the past few years, but the truth is that there's a lot of different aspects beyond a trader strategy that determines whether they're going to be profitable or whether they're going to fail and lose all their money. Things like risk management, psychology, your mindset, back testing, and so much more. That's why I put together a completely free video that will break down my exact process that allowed me to go from a broke busboy struggling financially and mentally into a 7-figure trader. Click the link in the description of this video and watch my journey so that you can see how you can do it for yourself.